Hello and welcome to part 2 of my DIY Telecaster build, hand applying the stain to the top. For this I'll be using stains obviously. I used black endorsing ink and Liberon water-based wood dye. You'll need cloths for cleaning and lint-free cloths for applying the stain, masking tape for sectioning off any sections you don't want dyed, gloves to avoid your skin getting stained, warm water to help apply the stain, and sandpaper. Because my guitar's got a flat top, I will be using a sanding block with mine to keep it flat and clean. Preparation is king. I sand the top with 220 or fine grit sandpaper. I do this to smooth out the surface, remove any residue left from manufacture or glue left from assembly. It also helps to ensure a consistent colour across the entire top. If you don't do this too well, you can end up with a patchy or a burst effect, which I'm not after. I also very quickly sanded the sides. I did this to smooth off any lumps and bumps and help my masking tape to securely stick to the sides. I wanted to avoid any bleeding or leakage across the sides of the guitar because I'm going to have two colours. I also then took one of my cloths and I gave it a very quick wipe to remove any dust that I have just created from sanding. As you can imagine, if you got this far and then you started applying your stain, only to find out that there was some dust left in the grain, it would start to clump together and look very unsightly. While masking the sides of the guitar, try to be very precise, sticking to the edge and following the edge all the way around. Try using as few pieces of masking tape as possible. This will ensure that there are less gaps for the water and the colour to slip down and stain the sides of your guitar. It's quite difficult sometimes to remove the stained bits off the sides. It wouldn't be too bad if you were staining the whole thing one colour, but because I'm not, I'm going to go a dark wood back and sides with a teal blue top. So I wanted to avoid that. First of all, I used my black endorsing ink. I added 8 drops to the mixture of 200 ml water. I found out that was not strong enough, so I added a few more and I did a few coats. It's important to work it deep into the grain, as the deeper parts of the grain will soak up more of the black liquid, and it's that actually will make the grain pop out through the colour once you've started to apply your finish. In the end, I applied several coats of black ink dilute solution, which I worked into the grain and then waited to dry. After it dried, I will sand down a little off the top, and this is to expose more of the lighter, shallower wood grain and allow a little bit more of a variation of colour in the top. I think this will really make it pop once I start applying the blue. As I said before, I used Liberon water-based blue dye, and actually it took a few days to arrive, so when it finally did I got a little bit carried away and just got straight on with it, and I forgot to hit record on the camera. So here is actually the second, I think, coat of blue wood dye. It is very strong stuff. I actually only added 6 to 10 drops of the dye to a 200 ml warm water to create a dilute solution, and after a few coats, working it in circles and then round the edges, it looked like this, which is a very rich, lovely blue colour, and it was very vivid across the entire top. I quite liked it, and I thought that when I start sanding down it will give me that pale worn effect, which hopefully under an oil finish will start to darken and turn into a teal colour. So here's a close-up of the grain where you can see the stripes really coming out. I left it to dry and then sanded a little bit more off the top before removing the masking tape. So here it is dry with a small layer removed from the top. As you can see, the grains become quite pearlescent, which I like. Removing the masking tape was easy, and I am pleased to announce that there was no bleeding or leakage of the blue colour at all, which is great. So now I am able to move on with sanding, preparing and staining the back and sides before applying my oil finish, which you will see in the next video. Thank you very much for watching. Please like, subscribe and comment, and look forward to seeing you soon.